Can Isagi and Blue Lock Japan actually beat France? We're talking about facing Julian Loki, basically the Blue Lock universe's version of Kylian Mbappe, plus an entire squad of new generation 11 prodigies who are faster, stronger, and more experienced than anything Japan's ever faced. This upcoming match at the U20 World Cup is legitimately the biggest test Blue Lock has ever thrown at our heroes. France is the tournament favorite. Loki has godspeed that makes even Shigiri and Zantetsu look slow. Charles Chevalier brings creative chaos that could shred Japan's defense. And the rest of France's lineup? They're physical monsters with technical skills that could dominate any team in the world. Meanwhile, Japan's rolling out their most unpredictable lineup yet. Isagi's spatial awareness, Shidou's absolute insanity, Rin's ice-cold playmaking, Baru's physical dominance, and a defensive setup that needs to be perfect for 90 straight minutes. One mistake against Loki, and it's game over. The stakes couldn't be higher because this match represents everything Ego's Blue Lock experiment has been building toward. Can individual egoists come together as a team to take down world-class talent? Can Japan's unconventional approach overcome France's traditional soccer excellence? Fans are going absolutely wild with theories about how this match could play out. Double man-marking systems on Loki, tactical substitutions bringing in Zantetsu or Nagi at crucial moments, defensive strategies involving offside traps orchestrated by Nico, and even the possibility that Japan loses in the group stage but gets revenge in a finals rematch. This is Blue Lock's make-or-break moment, and we're about to dive deep into every matchup, every tactical consideration, and every crazy theory about how Japan could pull off the upset of the century. Alright, let's set the stage for what makes this France match so incredibly difficult for Blue Lock Japan. First off, Julian Loki is the main problem everyone's talking about. This guy is modeled after real-world Mbappe, which means he's got blistering pace that defenders simply cannot keep up with, technical ability that lets him dribble through tight spaces, and unpredictable movement patterns that make him impossible to read. Loki isn't just fast, he's smart fast. He knows exactly when to make his runs, how to exploit defensive gaps, and where defenders are weakest. For Blue Lock Japan, stopping Loki becomes the #1 priority because if he gets loose even once or twice, France scores and the momentum shifts completely. But here's the thing, France isn't just Loki. Charles Chevalier adds another dimension of creative chaos. He's the kind of player who makes passes nobody sees coming, who can unlock defenses with a single moment of brilliance. Then you've got the rest of France's new generation 11 squad, who are all physical, technical, and tactically disciplined. They press aggressively, they maintain shape, they exploit weaknesses ruthlessly. France plays like a well-oiled machine, where every player knows their role and executes it perfectly. That's traditional soccer excellence, the kind that's dominated the sport for decades. Now let's talk about Blue Lock Japan's lineup, because it's wild. Isagi's the centerpiece with his metavision and spatial awareness, his ability to read the game and be exactly where he needs to be at the perfect moment. Shidou brings unpredictability and explosive scoring ability that can catch any defense off guard. Rin's playmaking and technical skills create opportunities out of nothing. Baru's physical dominance can disrupt France's defenders and win aerial battles. Then you've got the speed demons, Chigiri and Zantetsu, who might be Japan's best hope for matching Loki's pace. In goal, Gagamaru's reflexes need to be superhuman. On defense, Aiku and Aiku provide aerial presence and physical backup. The tactical challenge is insane. Japan needs to stay compact defensively to limit France's space for those deadly through balls to Loki. They need perfect coordination on offside traps, possibly orchestrated by Nico and Raichi reading France's attacking patterns. They need to avoid getting dragged out of position by Chevalier's creative movement. And offensively, they need to exploit the few chances they get because France won't give them many opportunities. Fan theories are going crazy trying to figure out how Japan could actually win this. The most popular idea is double man-marking Loki, having both Zantetsu and Chigiri shadow him constantly, using their own speed to match his pace while Aiku and Ryu cover the middle in case he breaks through. Some fans think Japan should play ultra-defensively, absorbing pressure and hitting on counterattacks, where Isagi's spatial awareness can find gaps in France's backline when they're pushed forward. Others argue Japan needs to be aggressive, pressing high and disrupting France's buildup before they can get the ball to Loki in dangerous positions. There's also serious discussion about substitutions. Bringing in Zantetsu as a late-game sub when Loki's still running at full speed could be crucial. Or maybe Nagi comes in for creative link-up play when France gets tired. Some fans even predict Japan loses this match in the group stage, but learns valuable lessons, then gets a rematch in the finals where they've figured out France's tactics and finally overcome Loki's Godspeed. Let's break down the key matchups and strategic considerations that'll decide this monster of a match. First critical point. Stopping Julian Loki is literally everything. If Japan can't contain him, nothing else matters. The double man marking theory makes the most sense. Chigiri and Zantetsu are the only Blue Lock players with speed remotely close to Loki's. By having both of them track his movements, Japan creates redundancy so if one gets beaten, the other is still there. But this strategy is risky because it commits two players to one target, meaning France has numerical advantages elsewhere on the field. Aiku and Ryu need to be positioned perfectly to cover those gaps, reading the game and shifting their positioning constantly. Gagamaru in goal becomes crucial too. He needs to save the shots that get through because some will definitely get through. What makes this matchup fascinating is that it's not just about athletic ability. Loki's smart, so he'll recognize the double marking and try to drag both defenders out of position, creating space for his teammates. Japan needs discipline to not get baited. Second point, Isagi's role as the tactical brain becomes more important than ever. His metavision, that ability to see the entire field and predict what's about to happen, is Japan's biggest advantage. While France has superior individual talent across the board, Isagi can potentially outsmart them by recognizing patterns, exploiting moments of defensive vulnerability, and being in two places at once, as some fans describe it. He doesn't need to be the fastest or strongest player on the field if he's always in the right position at the right time. Pairing Isagi with Shidou's chaos creates an interesting dynamic. Shidou doesn't follow conventional attacking patterns, which makes him nearly impossible to defend because he does things no rational player would attempt. France's defenders might be world-class, but they're trained to defend against logical attacking movements. Shidou's biological explosion style could catch them completely off guard, creating the kind of chaotic scoring chances Japan needs. Third point, the mental game and ego's philosophy being tested. Blue Lock's entire foundation is built on ego, the idea that the world's best striker needs unshakable confidence and the willingness to be selfish at crucial moments. But this match forces Blue Lock players to balance that ego with teamwork. They need to trust each other, cover for each other, and sometimes sacrifice personal glory for the team's success. That's a huge test of whether ego's experiment actually works at the highest level. France represents traditional soccer, teamwork, tactics, discipline, and collective excellence. If Blue Lock wins, it validates ego's revolutionary approach. If they lose, it raises questions about whether radical individualism can actually compete against established systems. The psychological pressure is massive, especially for guys like Baru and Rin, who are naturally selfish players. Fourth point, the potential for a loss and rematch storyline that actually makes narrative sense. Some fans predict Japan loses this group stage match, and honestly, that might be the most satisfying narrative path. It's realistic. France is objectively better on paper. But more importantly, it gives Blue Lock players a learning experience. They see Loki's speed in action, they experience Chevalier's creativity, they understand France's tactical discipline. Then, when they meet again in the finals, Japan's made adjustments. Maybe they've developed new defensive schemes specifically for Loki. Maybe Isagi's evolved his metavision to predict Loki's movements more accurately. Maybe the team chemistry has improved enough that they execute the double marking system flawlessly. A rematch victory feels earned rather than lucky, and it shows genuine growth rather than just plot armor. What really gets fans hyped is how this match connects to Blue Lock's core themes. This whole series has been about challenging traditional soccer, about proving that Japan can produce world-class strikers through unconventional methods. Facing France, a powerhouse nation with proven soccer excellence, is the ultimate validation test. Can ego's crazy experiment actually work? Can Isagi become the world's best striker by beating players like Loki? The stakes go beyond just winning or losing a match. This is about the future of Japanese football in the Blue Lock universe, and whether revolutionary thinking can overcome established dominance. So what do you think happens? Does Japan pull off the miracle upset in their first meeting? Do they lose but learn enough to win a rematch? Can the double man marking system actually contain Loki's Godspeed? Or will he be too much to handle? And most importantly, can Isagi's tactical genius and the team's collective ego overcome France's superior talent? One thing's for sure, this match is going to be absolutely legendary, and Blue Lock fans are about to witness the biggest test these characters have ever faced. Retry.